In this video, we're taking an in-depth look at the new Hybrid Solutions ceramic polish and wax from Turtle Wax, and we're doing a full correction on this Toyota Spyder. So let's take a look at the paint. The first view I want to give you guys is from outside in the sun. There's a little bit of water on the front, so just ignore that. But you can see the swirls, the holograms, the imperfections, the spider webbing. It's kind of difficult to see the orange peel, but that's there as well. The camera's picking up pretty much everything that I want it to. And to give you guys a few different angles, you can see when the sun shines on this black paint, it's in deep need of correction. That's kind of putting it lightly. So it is going to be a good subject, more or less, to see how well this polish does. In this particular situation, I like that I'm using it here because I'm going to see, you know, if there's going to be a big before and after, it's going to be dramatic. So here's under garage lights as well. Now I want to show you guys what it looks like under the Buff Bright LED light. This is the light that I attached to my Rupe's polisher, and you can just see from the halo of the light. The garage lights did it really well to show you, but you can see the swirls here in that as well. Now I'm using Optimum Paint Prep just to strip anything off the paint. The paint's been washed and clayed and iron-xed and all of it, like it's totally prepared, but I'm just stripping it one more time here before I polish. And I let it sit for a second. I work it in with a microfiber, then buff it off. Now, this is my Rupe's, my Buff Bright light. It helps me polish a little bit. I'm using a Spyder, what is it called? A Spyder pad from 3D Car Care and my Rupe's polisher. It's a medium cut pad. And this is about how much polish I'm going to be using, like 4 dime size little drops. So very little. And truth be told, a little bit goes a long way. Now, I'm not speeding this particular part up right here for this first half of the hood because I want you guys to be able to see how slow I'm moving. So with this type of polish, I intentionally move way slower, not way slower, but significantly slower than I normally would because I'm trying to get a feel for the polish, and I would encourage anybody using something new to do the same thing. Oftentimes you don't get the full feel of a polish unless you give it time to just kind of experiment with it in different ways. So here I'm putting a lot of pressure down, I let up the pressure, I move slower, I move faster. I kind of just see what works on this first panel so that I'm prepared going in it to the rest of the car with the rest of the paint, how I want to approach it. That's kind of the idea behind this. Again, you saw I used very little, and it's more than covering the whole area that I'm doing, which is a little bit more than just a 2x2 area. So that kind of speaks to how little you really need to use. There's no need to overdo it at all. And of course, I'm just finishing it a little bit quicker here. But to give you guys a little bit before and after before we go for the rest of the car, under the garage lights, you can see pretty well what it did in this first little go around here. Are there still some scratches and imperfections? Absolutely. Again, this is a 2001 and it's never been polished, and that's not even accounting for, you know, variables like the hardness of the paint itself, the fact that it's a 2001, that it's extremely old, the fact that it's black paint. So there's all these variables that aren't necessarily controlled for, that this polish might react differently in a different situation, but I think this does give a good idea, at least in this situation, of what it's going to do, and it might serve as a good foundation. And you can see the before and after really looks fantastic, at least in this first little instance. Now, I'm speeding it up for the rest of the car as far as me polishing it so I don't waste your time. But I kind of want to share with you guys a few thoughts as you're watching the polishing happen. Number one, I'm using my Rupe's. It's about a $450 polisher, the Rupe's Bigfoot here. I believe this is the Mark II that I have, but they did, I believe, come out with a Mark III. And it's just a great polisher to use in a situation like this. A lot of you know I like the Max Shine polisher, but I kind of hold to my original intention with that polisher in that it's great for beginners. If you're experienced in paint correction and you're well on your way, I love the Rupe's for somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who wants to improve their polishing game. There's so much power behind this polisher that while I'm testing out the ceramic polish from Turtle Wax, I can put a lot of pressure down onto the paint really give the benefit of the doubt to the polish itself and not worry about a bunch of stalling or vibrations or things that end up making it not only work less well or less good, but also kind of hurt my user experience. The pad I'm using is a medium cut pad against a Spyder pad from 3D Car Care. It's a 6-inch pad. It works very well. I only used this one single pad and cleaned it probably about 4 or 5 times in between polishing. And then again, I've got my buff bright light there, which allows me to kind of see what I'm doing a bit better. This ceramic polish, the first thing I would say is that there's virtually no dusting whatsoever, so that's not something that you're going to have to be worried about really at all in this whole process. Secondly, I want to reiterate what I said. 4 dime-sized drops is more than enough for that 2x2 area that's suggested by the manufacturer's directions, or even a larger area. So definitely don't worry about using a bunch. You're gonna have a little go a very long way. Thirdly, I would say this. I had to move very, very slowly in order to get the results I was after. So that's traditional with a DA. Of course, I'm going to use it much slower than a rotary, and I kind of prefer a rotary because I can do things a bit quicker and kind of cut to the chase. But I will say, using this product, and this is something I anticipated, I had to go over the panels that I was polishing many times with about 3.5 to 4.5 speed, and sometimes finishing with a 5 speed. And then I had to go very, very slowly. And the reason I'm throwing that detail in is because as I'm walking around the paint showing you guys the finished product, I categorize this, and I believe I say this at the end of the video, I categorize this product more as a paint enhancement product than I do necessarily a correction product. The paint looks unbelievably better than it did before, okay? However, if I am trying to deeply correct if I'm trying to deeply correct paint, this is probably not the product that I'm looking for. One thing you'll notice is that it enhanced the depth of the gloss and that deep black look unbelievably, okay? So in the midst of the swirls and the imperfections that are still left on the paint, the black color looks incredible, and it definitely removed any of that oxidation that was on the paint in addition to those swirls. So now, are there random isolated deep scratches? Are there water etchings? Are there still imperfections at a level? Yes. Are there really any swirls? There's not really any swirls left, which speaks to the polish for sure, but are there a bunch of scratches that are deeper into that clear coat that aren't going to come out with something that's more of what I, again, consider a paint enhancement product? Yes, those are going to stay in the paint. But again, I'm kind of being detailed and critiquing it at a higher level here. Now, I'm grabbing my buff bright light because I want you guys to be able to see under the lighting as well. You're gonna see imperfections, but again, the swirls are virtually gone. So if you look around the halo of the light, you're not going to see any swirls, but you will see those straight-lined scratches and those deeper scratches that are in the paint like I'm talking about, and maybe even, maybe a certain percentage of swirls. But again, fantastic product for paint enhancement, fantastic for maybe even a beginner or intermediate or even a weekend warrior, but as far as deep correction, probably not. So guys, I think my conclusion here is that this was pretty much what I expected it to be. It is more of an enhancement product, in my opinion. I probably would not reach for this when I'm trying to do some more serious correction, though coupled with the medium cut pad and the Rupe's polisher and just some experience, it certainly did more than I thought it was going to do, and so you guys can kind of see that. The camera will pick up on everything, whereas in person, especially in the shade, this car looks perfected. I mean, this is gonna be a rubbernecker at any stoplight. People are gonna be looking at this and staring at it. I mean, it looks fantastic, but again, under that really intense lighting and in the camera, you're gonna see every imperfection. But for a 2001 that's never been corrected, this did a fantastic job. But other than that, if you guys want to get your hands on the Rupe's, the pad, the polish itself that I was using, or any of the products or tools used here, I'm gonna hook up Amazon links below in the YouTube description box. So if you're looking to get anything used in the video, those links would be convenient for you. If you like this video or you love everything auto detailing, then consider subscribing to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. And as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you guys in the next video.